It's a good day to be here with Dr. Paul Bradley, one of the most popular internists anywhere. So happy that you could take some time to talk with us today and give us some tips on how to stay healthy.
Oh, you're too kind. Yeah, it seems like it's getting harder and harder, especially lately. We always have a lot of stress, but in general, the stress levels just seem to be palpable. It's a complex world that we live in, and it's filtering down, and we see it. We see it in the patients every day, whether it's their own stress or the stress of their families. It's tough, and it is true. I mean, the stress that we experience can absolutely get turned into real medical problems. It can raise your blood pressure. There was a study one time shows it can raise your cholesterol. It definitely hurts our diabetics. It makes their sugars more difficult to control. So it's really important. Grab hold of the stress, handle it. If you're getting a good night's sleep, you know, if you want to boil it down, if you're getting a good night's sleep, which has become a very elusive thing, but if you're getting a good night's sleep, you're probably doing okay. But if you're tossing and turning, and we call it the bewitching hour, like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and all of a sudden you're wide awake, it's like, what happened? Well, what happened is, as humans, we're programmed to not get down into the deep restorative levels of sleep unless, now this is the problem, unless you've resolved all the conflicts of the previous day.
Whoa.
Well, I'm sure that when we lived in a cave, or where we just maybe threw a spear or had a simple crop, I mean, that was pretty simple, right? The sun rose, the sun set, you survived another day, then that was good, you slept that night. But God, the sun doesn't really set anymore. Our world doesn't stop, and between the internet and 24-hour-a-day information stream, it doesn't stop. And so it doesn't really matter if the problems are even yours or not, because you're aware of all these issues, and your conscious and your subconscious is sitting there processing it. And consciously you might, okay, I've done this, I'm resigned to this, and this problem's not going to go away, I'm going to go to sleep now. Well, fatigue, exhaustion will cause you to fall asleep. Okay, we have to have sleep. As humans, we can't escape this. So at some point, I mean, no matter how bad your insomnia be, you will fall asleep. But then the trick, okay, which we are not in control of, is will you get down into those deep restorative levels? And it's hard if you haven't resolved all the conflicts of the previous day. So what happens? Well, as you're going down, all of a sudden your subconscious, and again, that bewitching hours, usually 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, says no, wait a minute, you got all these problems. I mean, and it could be as simple as you were worried that Sally hit Bob, and you had nothing to do with Sally or Bob, or you left all this stuff still on your desk at work unfinished. It can be simple stuff. It can be, oh my God, how am I going to pay my bills? It can be, really terrible stuff. But it doesn't matter to your subconscious. It's unresolved conflicts, unresolved issues. And so what happens is the subconscious says, you left stuff on the table, wake up. And that's why you're wide awake in the middle of the night. And you may or may not actually be able to fall back asleep, and you probably certainly haven't gotten a good night's sleep.
You just described me.
I just described most of us nowadays. And I've been in practice for a good while now. I don't think it was always like this for the average person, but I think this is everybody now. I think, because all day long what I hear is, I can't sleep. Sleeping pills are not a great solution, because they force you to become unconscious, but they don't give us typically a good night's sleep. You might wake up like, oh, I slept, but your brain hasn't recycled itself. It hasn't been able to refresh. All right, so what
do we do?
Well, there actually is. There is a simple trick. This is going to sound silly, but I encourage everybody to try it at least once, because it will work for most people. So what I said was, the brain doesn't want to allow you to get into the deep levels of restorative sleep until you've resolved all those conflicts. But it doesn't really, the brain, the subconscious doesn't really expect you to fix everything. It just needs to have you put it aside, put it in a separate place. So one trick that works a lot of the time is just take pad and paper, okay, and literally make bullet point entries. We're not writing a novel here. We're not
journaling.
No, we're not journaling, and this is not going to be used for anything else but to be put in the trash the next morning. But literally make one line, just one, could be one word, but whatever comes to mind that you're thinking about that's left before you go to sleep that night. One line, okay? And just put it on the nightstand and then go to sleep. And somehow or another, for most of us, as crazy as it sounds, it will move those problems out of the subconscious and put them aside.
Okay.
Okay. Now they'll be back the next morning, right?
Yes.
And you'll probably have to do the same thing every night. But if you're getting hit, by that terrible bewitching hour, try it. Okay. It's no harm, no foul, no medication, and it'll usually help. All right. And then of course, everything we can do for stress management. That can be as simple as deep breathing, going for maybe a massage, exercise. Exercise is so important. Just walking 30 minutes a day, most days, will do a lot. Meditation, yoga, all those things really do help. But we've got to get that brain tuned up and the subconscious to the point where it can relax when you're supposed to be really sleeping.
Okay. Well, that makes me feel, I recently switched to a day shift, which is it's been so tough.
Welcome to daylight.
32 years of 3 to midnight, and now I'm 10:30 to 7:30. And this is my 9th week.
Yeah.
And I'm still struggling.
And it's going to take you a good while because we are also all creatures of habit. Mm-hmm. And this habit has been ingrained right into you now, and it's going to be difficult, not impossible, but it's going to be difficult to break.